Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Part 2, The Adventure of Link. And we had just beaten Horsehead on our last video, so I'm going to head on out of this palace, and you'll notice once you leave the palace, now it's turned to stone. That's how you know you're done there, so... In a half-assed attempt to avoid those enemies, I kind of stopped in the corner, and then boom. So now we're going to head back to the cave, and we're going to pick up some random stuff before we head to the second palace. We also have another spell we gotta learn. But in order to learn that spell, we're gonna have to pick up an item for somebody, so that'll be one of the random things that we'll be picking up on the way there. So it's all pretty simple, really. And you can see us slowly building up to that next level of 400 experience there, which seems pretty daunting from this vantage point, but trust me, it's not that hard. Things will get a lot easier, and we have a couple of pea bags on the way, hopefully, because you will be picking those up here and there. The first one I'm going to do is head down south of the, where we started. Notice again, I wandered back to the road before they had a chance to hit me, so that when they did... Yeah, sometimes you'll also see a fairy out here, too. Did you see that fairy back there? That'll turn up once in a while. Not very often, but it's cool when it does. Nice little... free refill if you happen to get lucky. There's our old friends, the Octoroks. A little bit different in this game. There's a pea bag, how about that? Basically, if a monster drops a pea bag, it'll be worth 50, unless the monster would have given you 30 or more experience, then it'd be worth 200. And those are really nice to have. Obviously, because at this point in the game, 200 takes you halfway there. Now we just gotta head north, and before we head west to the town of Ruto, I'm gonna head up here to this cave, because someone there is missing their goddess statue, and I thought I'd go pick it up for him, since I'm such a nice guy. And you notice now, since I didn't mention it, now that I have the candle that I picked up in the palace, you can actually see in these caves, whereas you couldn't before. It is possible to do this without the candle if you know the game really well, but I don't know, I wouldn't advise it. I mean, especially if you've never played before, I mean, seriously. Got us a goddess statue.
We're living in a material world, and I am a material girl. Or boy.
That's right. Tell you what, man. I don't know how many movie quotes I'm going to be able to come up with to put in these things, but I just have to keep looking. Normally I use those when I play on the radio. Sometimes I DJ on a radio station, but I'm going to try to see if I can DJ for Kingdom of Loathing maybe sometime, because they have a lot of listeners there. I DJ on Dead Awakened radio sometimes, but over there you're lucky if you have any more than 5 listeners. It's like, what's the point? If you see someone walking back and forth outside the house like that, usually it's a healer. She'll take you inside, and she'll heal you up. Oh yeah, and the orange woman that we saw there, the orange woman, jeez. They'll restore your magic. So, we saw somebody just came out of their house, so this must be... There you go, you saved the trophy, come see my uncle. You know, it couldn't just be her father, they had to be original and come up with a nice variety of different family members to assist, so it couldn't just be fathers all the time, it had to be an uncle here and there, maybe a cousin, or just a friend or whatever. Or my grandfather, I'm sure there's one of those. The first time I played this game, I came here and he said, with this, you can jump very high. I thought he had given me some kind of item or something, because I still hadn't figured out at that point that I was learning spells, and that's what it was for, is the spell makes you jump high, not... You know, I wasn't going to be jumping high automatically, like for the rest of the game or anything. And thank goodness, because it's kind of hard to maneuver or fight Iron Knuckles when you have that spell cast on yourself. Do not go south without a candle. I got a candle, so that shouldn't be a problem then. And if we head south, that's going to take us pretty close to the second palace, but we'll have a couple of things to pick up before we actually take it on. Probably the end of this video will be me just entering the second palace, and then I'll save that for some other time. If it seems like things change between videos, like my experience changes or something, It won't change by much. I'll try to keep it the same, but if I forget to save my state after I finish recording, then I gotta go back and do it again. I can't guarantee that I'll have the same experience when I get there the second time.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Basically, you gotta watch where he's about to throw the boomerang and try to keep your shield. But, you know, when he throws it down, so you don't know if it's gonna hit your shield or if it's gonna go underneath you and hit you from behind. Same thing when he's throwing them towards the top. You can never be too sure. Sometimes you might have to turn around to block him. Might as well. Got the magic here. And another one of these guys to fight. See if we can't do a little better this time. There we go. We got him. But man, I'm so close to dead right now, it's not even funny. We have to take our time with these bats. You get to a certain point, they'll start to swoop down at you, but you never know which way they're going to go, left or right, so... Man, look at that trail he's leaving. That right there, he's going to transform into a little devil creature, so you got to be ready to take that out as soon as you can. I'm just going to get out here and use this jump spell. Don't even bother fighting that thing. It ain't worth the trouble. It ain't worth the 3 measly experience points I would get from it. Fortunately, we have a nice little fairy's nest out here, so I'll pick one up. Oh, that feels so good. And south we go. I'm trying to stay out of the swamp because it's kind of nasty in there. Enemies and everything. Actually, though, the swamp, as far as easy enemies go, it's probably easier to get through the swamp than the plains. Because in the plains, you got those jumping things, and they're just annoying. That's what they are. Yeah, not much to say here. We're just trying to get to, there's a bridge here that you can actually cross, but I'm not gonna go there just yet. We'll do that later. There's actually an area hidden in that forest that I just passed by. And I'll have to come and find that later. This thing down here in the road that blocks the way, you can't actually get through that unless you have the hammer, and you get the hammer on Death Mountain, but that's a little bit later, so we'll go back and do that later. There's another cave over here blocked by one. And in this cave here, we'll get a pea bag, so might as well pick that up. More of these pain-in-the-ass things. There we go. Oh, and look who's here. A Goriah. Nice. If there's one enemy that's actually more memorable in this game than it is in the first one, it's definitely the Goriahs. Those guys are a pain. There's a lot of enemies that are a pain in the butt in this game. I don't know, mostly because of the way it plays, it's kind of different. Here comes 200 big experience points. And our next life level. I could have passed that up and went for the 500 to get my attack up to 3, but I decided not to. Ultimately, the defense is always, you know, never a bad thing to have. That's what happens when your life level goes up, your defense increases. It doesn't, like, increase your heart containers or anything. You have to get that from heart containers. But it took me forever to figure that out when I was a kid. That level was increasing my defense, not my life capacity or anything like that. Get back to the road. Try to keep these guys off my tail. And fighting easy enemies in the swamp is not so bad, but when you get hit by the hard ones, and they have those birds coming at you at the same time, then it's really kind of nasty. I think I'm just going to stop here now that I got into the palace, so... Yep. Pick that up real quick. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.